Mountain biking is awesome, although it can be an expensive sport to start. And then there's loads of options, there's loads of new tech, and everybody has got an idea of what your best first upgrade will be. But here's GMBN Tech's best budget upgrades for your entry-level bike. Yes, mountain biking is brilliant and it's a wonderful visceral experience. It can be a type 2 fun where you're conquering a tough ascent or a longer trail, or it can be that heart racing, adrenaline buzzing stuff where you're cleaning a technical section of trail or single track. Or of course it can be a mix of both, where you're going up and down and across wonderfully tough trails. And that's the thing, there's this wide range of different subgenres and niches. And that's probably a video in itself, but we're going to try and stick to the best beginner upgrades because you can invest a lot of time and a lot of money into all manner of awesome upgrades that might not be awesome for you. So here's the best. If you've got a new mountain bike, entry level or not, the best first upgrade is some simple advice. That's just go and ride it. I know that might seem a bit weird, and I'll explain further along as to why you just need to go and ride your bike. But most likely, if you've done your research, your new entry-level mountain bike will most likely be really good right now. They've improved so much over the last few years. Just as an example, have a look at Canyon's Grand Canyon. I've seen it on offer as low as under 600 UK pounds, so $599. And for that, you're getting an air fork. That's easier to set up, so it can get good performance really simply. You're getting a 1x drivetrain, and that gives you all the range and the gearing that you need with much less hassle compared to 2x or 3x setups. And then you're getting great geometry and lightweight package, and that means the ride experience should be really good. So why does riding help? Okay, the best upgrades are the upgrades that you actually need. So before we suggest any, let's find out where your skill set and your bike capabilities might be lacking, and in turn we can, well, turn our attention to these different areas. So go ride your bike and then you can help decide what you need rather than, well, what you want to get. And these are just our suggestions, so if you've got your own, please add them down below. Some upgrades will make a big difference and some will make your bike better in the long haul. We can't upgrade rider skill, but we can upgrade your bike to be better suited for the riding that you're doing. And that in itself can feel like a real skills boost. So let's break down the different struggles that you might have, and then we can look at the best upgrades. We're going to be pretty broad with our guidance. As you might imagine, we can get in some real rabbit holes with niche upgrades. But again, you're riding your bike, you're finding out where you need to boost your skills gap or boost your bike's capability. That is really the best starting point. Okay, this one isn't really an upgrade, but without having some tools, you're really going to struggle to fit or faff with any of the actual upgrades that we're going to offer. And as you might have guessed already, I'm a little bit nerdy and I love tools. So I'd happily do a video all about the tools that you should upgrade and you should ride with and you should have in your workshop. But one of the most cost-effective tools, and the one I make sure I've got on almost every ride, is a simple multi-tool. Yes, you can get rad little ratchet tools, or you can get hyperlight tools, or you can get ones that attach to your bike or store inside the down tubes. But I feel like simplicity in a multi-tool is key. You also need to get pretty much all the tools that you need. So one of my favourites is the Hexus X from Topeak. It's got most of the hex and torque keys that you need. It's got tyre levers and it's got a chain tool. Of course, with a chain tool, or with those tyre levers I should say, don't forget that you'll need a tube and you'll need a pump as well. If you're really enjoying riding your local trails and you're exploring more and you're heading out longer each time, but the thing you're noticing isn't always how amazing the ride experience is. No, sometimes you might be noticing it's a right pain in the ass or in the palms. Yeah, comfort is really important and you don't always have to throw loads of money at it to fix it. So my first or next upgrade isn't really a thing, it's more making sure that your saddle is the right height. Roadies have lots of factors and lots of rules that you can use as a starting point. There's some good tools online to help set saddle height. The one that I found the most useful is the Greg LeMond method. And it is a really good way of determining your saddle height. It might sound a little bit complex, but actually it's pretty simple. You just multiply by a very specific number, 0.883, your inside leg measurement. And then you just measure from the center point of your bottom bracket, so the center point of the cranks, up to the top of the saddle. Okay, for more technical terrain, you might need it slightly lower, but the Le Mans method can get you much closer than you can think. Okay, so we've got the saddle at the right height. The next thing to look at is the angle of the saddle. So we need to aim for the saddle from tip to tail to be kind of flat. So not wedged up, not nose down. Now, depending on if you've got suspension fork or you've got full suspension, well, where that saddle sits when you're on the bike, when it sags in, when the bike compresses with your weight, the angle is going to change a little bit. So just be mindful about that. Now, if setting the saddle at the right height, the right angle still doesn't fix it, well, then you're going to need a better fitting saddle option. And this used to be an extremely daunting task. But now, lots of brands and lots of shops have got the tools to help you select the right style, the right support, and the best width saddle. And, well, the right saddle. It is worth spending cash on, but you don't need titanium rails, you don't need carbon rails. Getting the right shape, the right width, and the right amount of padding are what really matters. The other contact point that can cause trouble are, well, yeah, your hands. So if you're struggling with sore hands, before upgrading, try, with that multi-tool that you've just got, adjusting your brake levers and gear shifters. Changing that position can really help. You can also look at bar roll. So if you've got a riser bar, maybe rolling it further back or slightly rolling it forward can make a really big difference. So we need to understand where and how you're having hand issues first to steer you in the right direction for an upgrade. If you're riding longer distance and you get sore palms, then switching grips can definitely help. And there's a wide range of different sizes and subtly different shapes that can help. Ergon and others make some really good comfort grips that boost hand to grip contact, which then reduces the stress on your hand and on your wrist. And they can really work for longer rides. If you're noticing hand issues from vibration and jarring on rougher terrain, then many brands offer grips with thicker or plusher padding. The padding and the grip form design is always a balance between lots of factors. So larger diameter grips or specific shapes can offer better support, which can offer more comfort, but too much or a certain shape, it might limit control and you might not like it. Many brands and shops are going to offer guidance and help. As a side note, some of the grip options might be, well, they might not look that cool. They might have an extra sort of, well, bar end on the end. But if you're riding longer, having an extra hand position, well, it helps. It means that you can move your hands around and move any pressure or stress off them. So yeah, the hipsters might not like them, but they can be really good. So it's worth a try. Before we carry on, I've got a little favour to ask. If you're enjoying this and you've not already subscribed to the channel, then do hit that subs button. It can really help us create more great content like this. And if you've subscribed already and you're finding this useful, don't forget to like the video and share it with others. They might find it useful too. Cheers. If you're enjoying your riding and it's not the distance that's causing any discomfort, well, maybe it's more likely to be a control thing, and we can look at bike control boosting upgrades that can really help with your riding. And there's lots of different ways to boost control, but the first one is kind of simple. If your bike comes with a bolted seat clamp, so that's holding in the seat post, you can switch it for a quick release lever or a QR. And that means that you'll be able to quickly and tool-free adjust your saddle height. And that's a really good thing, because on technical terrain, dropping your saddle out of the way means that, well, you get more crotch clearance and more confidence, and it's a real boost to technical terrain. Will it instantly turn you into a trail slayer? Well, perhaps not, but it will help, I promise. Okay, if you've got more cash, then yes, there's other upgrades that you can do. You could get a bar-mounted, lever-operated dropper post, often just called a dropper post. And that is going to be a massive boost to confidence and control, because as you're riding along, you can just hit the lever and your saddle will drop out of the way. They're great. The other contact point on your bike, past grips and past saddle, is pedals, and to a degree your shoes. It is very easy to get pulled into the height behind clip-in pedals and shoes. Yep, agreed, there are some ergonomic advantages to the clip-in interface. Actually, I should describe that, shouldn't I? Okay, clip-in pedals, sometimes called clipless, use a special shoe and a special pedal. Effectively, there's a recessed metal cleat that's bolted into your shoe and it snaps and clips into a mechanism on the pedal. It means that you're, well, directly connected to the pedal and to your bike, so you can get a little bit more control and you can get a smoother pedal stroke. But you do need to think about when you want to take your foot off, because you have to twist your foot out to release. It does become second nature, but it can take a couple of crashes to make it through. Off-road, the speed and ease of just stepping off a flat pedal, I just think are brilliant. But I'll say this, if you're enjoying longer rides and you're heading out further, then yeah, the case for clip-ins is stronger. But if you're just enjoying riding, flat pedals, not clip-ins, are still really efficient off-road. And they've got the, well, really clear advantage of that ultra easy, no clip, unclip. Does that make sense? Okay, I should also mention, there are lots of single-sided pedals where you've just got a clip on one side and sort of flat on the other. And in theory, they seem to offer the best of both worlds. But in practice, I'll say that they're not the panacea that you might think they are. Why? Okay, when you're learning to clip in, sometimes it's really hard to find where the mechanism is. So having a single-sided pedal means that, well, you've got half the chance of clipping in. It also means that when you're riding, if you're used to that being attached to the bike and then you're unclipped, it can feel a little bit, well, unbalanced. And it also means that, well, if you're not clipped and you're riding on the flat bit, but you've got a cleat on your shoe, it's just not perfect. So if you've only got one bike and you want to have a bike that you can do longer distances and fun stuff, they can work. But I think flats can be really good. That said, there's still lots of upgrades that you can do from your stock pedals. You can go really wild and get really expensive fancy flats, but if you hunt around, many brands do offer a resin-bodied flat that features adjustable pins that can offer much more grip and thus more control than the basic plastic flats that your bike probably came with, but without the sky-high price. Now, if you're still after more grip, I've had some luck in reducing the pin count on the pedals. This might sound a little bit counterintuitive, but often less pins can equal a little bit more bite, as the area that the shoe's got to sort of bite into is reduced. The next thing we need to talk about is flat pedal shoes. So there are dedicated flat pedal shoes out there, and they don't have to be super expensive, but the sole is purposely designed to give you more traction and more grip from those pedal pins and when you're walking off-road. The pins will tear apart normal trainers or other shoes really quickly. So although, yeah, just getting regular trainers will save you money in the short term, in the long run, you're going to find yourself replacing shoes more often. So hunt around for some flat pedal shoes that can work for you. If you're doing the mountain biking thing right, then the only contact patch you'll have with the ground should be your tyres. And if you're looking for more control, more traction can really help. Okay, right, tyres. They come in lots of different widths, lots of different sizes, different casing, lots of different compounds, and you can get very nerdy very quickly. And yes, we've done a whole video on this topic because it can be a real puzzle very quickly. I'll give you some brief headlines. A bigger width can be run at lower pressure, and that means you get a traction boost, but be aware, you might not be able to fit the really big tyres in your frame and fork. There will be some size limitations. Now, the right tread pattern for the terrain that you're riding can help you find more grip. So if you've got a tread pattern with lots of lugs, they can kind of bite into harder surfaces like rocks and roots. Then deeper lugs, they can bite into loam and softer terrain. Of course, we've just got a flag. Especially in northern climes, weather can turn one tread from being perfect into not quite amazing. So just be careful about when you're buying the tyres. Okay, what else? Softer compounds. Okay, the rubbers that are used in the tyres can be available in a stock formula or a really soft compound, and that gives you more chemical grip so it can adhere to the terrain much better. They can, as you might expect, wear more quickly. I did say it was complex, and yes, grippy tyres can be expensive, but we can be smart about this because, well, we're looking for more control and we're looking for more traction, and actually one bike on a tyre does more than the other, and it might be a little bit surprising. So as we decelerate and as we steer, our weight often shifts forward onto the front of the bike. So for more braking control and more steering control, if we were going to upgrade one tyre, well, we could upgrade just the front tyre. And then you can just run your stock tyre until it needs to be replaced. And then even when you replace it, you wouldn't have to get the super soft, compound, tacky one on the back. And that's really good. It's a good thing. Talking about more puzzles, we've done a whole video on just how setting tyre pressure can be a brilliant way of boosting your bike's performance. And it's really good because, well, effectively it's free and it's customizable for everybody. And bikes are kind of riding and gliding on air, so it is a really important thing to set up. And much like tyres, there are a lot of factors at play, which is why we've done a whole video on it. But the short take is that lower pressure can be great at offering you more grip and lower rolling resistance, which sounds like an oxymoron type thing, but genuinely, go and watch the video. It's really good. Okay, one tool that makes pressure setting process much easier is getting a floor pump or track pump with a good gauge. There's lots of different options out there, but they're not all the same. I would definitely recommend looking for one that's got a very clear to see gauge because it really helps setting pressure. And also, if you've not got a road bike, well, you can get these really cool high volume, low pressure pumps that are designed to work, well, much quicker, and that saves you time. So it's a good thing. I've done a different video all about the different tubes that you can get, as yes, like with lots of things mountain bike, there's loads of different options, but they can be a great upgrade because, well, they can be a bit lighter and you can feel that difference on a rotational mass. And, well, some of them are tougher as well. Stock tubes are often really heavy and really thick as well, and that often leads to a bit of a dead feel. So TPU tubes are definitely worth a look. They can be lighter and tougher. The other upgrade to look at is tubeless. Okay, this is where with the right rim and the right tyre and a little bit of faff with a rim strip and some sealant, you can get rid of that inner tube, and it means that you can have a faster rolling setup, and key, this sealant inside will magically fix lots of thorns and lots of smaller punctures that, well, would just be a bit of a letdown with tubes. If you do it wrong, yes, it can be messy, but we've done a video on how to do it mess-free. And I know it is a bit controversial, but it can be really good. We've talked about a lot of different upgrades from, well, shoes to pedals to saddles, but there's one thing that you can do to, well, help your investment even more, and that's keeping your bike clean and keeping it lubed properly. Of course, keeping air in those tyres also helps. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is keeping your bike, your investment that you've got now, rolling smoothly. We've done a lot of different videos on how to best wash and clean your bike, but I'll add this. If it's been really muddy, then yeah, it's worth washing your bike completely. But if it's not been that muddy, then we'll actually just focus on the thing that matters, and that's making sure that your chain is clean and your chain is correctly lubed. Why? Well, a dirty down tube, I mean, okay, it's going to look not perfect, but it's going to function just the same. Whereas a dirty chain and a cruddy, worn out chain is going to wear all the other components of your drivetrain quickly. But there's things that we can do to stop that. A, making sure it's clean. B, putting the right amount of lube on it. And C, using a chain checking tool. So a tool like this, and it measures how much the chain is wearing. We say it stretches, but effectively the rollers on the inside of the chain are sort of wearing out. And as they wear out, they can spread that wear to the cassette and to the chainring. But if you change it in time, well, you don't have to change the cassette and you don't have to change your chainring. So longer term, it can save you money, which is perfect because you can save for, well, more upgrades. Yes, mountain biking is amazing, but starting out at the entry level, well, it might not be easy. There's so much to learn about riding, so much to learn about maintenance, so much to learn about what upgrades work for you. But stick with it, persevere, because as you keep riding, your skills improve. As you keep riding, your fitness improves, and you'll be able to see what upgrades you'll need more. Do you need more help with traction and control? Do you need more help with comfort and the longer ride? It's much like the trail itself. Mountain bike journey has some ups, it has some downs. The highs of finding new places to ride and new people to ride with and learning new skills. You're going to have some lows like crashes, mechanicals, and yeah, being caught out in bad weather. But the pros outweigh the cons. Otherwise we would have all probably given up by now. So stick with it. Try and upgrade your skills and try and upgrade your bike slowly and sensibly. Okay, right, that's all my advice on the best upgrades, but what are your best beginner upgrades? Let us know in the comments down below. Are you going to upgrade your drivetrain first or your suspension forks? Let us know in the comments down below.